Howdy, I'm Matthew Walker, dietitian here at Food & Friends, and today we're going to take our Nutrition in the Kitchen series out of the kitchen and into the pantry, where we'll be talking about an overview of our medically tailored groceries program. We'll be talking about contents, proper storage, suggested uses, and ways to make these groceries go even further. But first I want to tell you why we send what we send. Let's get into it. So the reason that we say that our groceries are medically tailored is because they are designed to help in the treatment of several chronic health conditions, like diabetes, heart disease, and chronic kidney disease. Because of that, all of our products are chosen to have low sodium, low added sugar, and low saturated fat. In fact, if you go ahead and look at the nutrition label on our products, you'll see that the vast majority have less than 10% of your recommended daily sodium per serving, and less than 5 grams of added sugar or saturated fat, which are both also good goals to have for your own personal shopping. You can note that if you find the sodium levels to still be a little too high on some of these products, you can still reduce them. You can take added vegetables, strain them, and then rinse them to remove some of the salt that's in the canning liquid. Or if you have a product like a broth or a vinaigrette, you can go ahead and dilute it. So with the broth, add a little bit more water and you'll reduce the sodium load. And with the vinaigrette, add a little bit more oil or vinegar and you'll do the same thing. We divide our groceries into 3 categories. Our primary delivery is 4 standard grocery bags packed with shelf-stable goods. This includes things like canned vegetables, fruits, and proteins, some dry staples like beans, rice, cereal, and cooking ingredients and other items like milk, oil, or vinaigrettes. By sending canned goods, we maintain the maximum amount of flexibility because they last longer both on your shelves and on ours, and because they're canned at peak freshness, they're just as nutritious of an option as fresh foods. We will often send things that we expect to be paired together, like sending pasta and tomato sauce in the same week, but you're welcome to use them in any way that you want to. Next up in our deliveries is our fresh produce bag, which contains a mixture of fresh fruits and vegetables. And because we want our clients to eat these items in abundance, we try to send a good mixture of root vegetables, fresh leafy greens, fruits, and some cooking ingredients like onions or ginger. These items will often change seasonally depending on what's available to us when we're ordering, so be on the lookout for new fruits and vegetables to try. You might find a new favorite. Finally, we send our frozen protein bag. For most clients, this will contain a mix of chicken breast, fish fillets, which will usually be either salmon or cod, and some frozen pre-seasoned turkey burgers, though our vegetarian clients will receive black bean burgers. This allows us to send a lot more protein foods than we would otherwise without increasing the sodium that we'd get with some canned proteins, and keep recipe options flexible for all of our clients. Canned and dry goods can obviously both be stored at room temperature, but there are still a few tips that can maximize their shelf life. Number 1, keeping storage spaces nice and dry is very important, especially for items, dry goods like rice and things of that nature, because they can absorb moisture in the air over time and eventually get ruined. Another item that we want to be careful with is oil. A lot of people like to keep it right next to their stove for cooking efficiency, but you want to do that in small amounts at a time at a separate dark container to prevent the light and heat from turning the oil rancid. Finally, always remember that if you do open a canned good, make sure that you store it in a separate clean container, store it in the refrigerator, and use it within the next 3 or 4 days. With fresh produce, some items actually benefit from not being refrigerated. These include onions, citrus fruit like lemons and oranges, ginger, potatoes, and winter squash. Some other fruits like apples and pears can benefit from being refrigerated to extend their shelf life, but might taste better or ripen at room temperature. Dark green veggies, leafy veggies, and root vegetables other than potatoes all should be refrigerated. And if you ever cut up any fruit or vegetable, regardless of where it was living beforehand, it should then be stored in the fridge. Now that we have our groceries properly stored, we can turn our attention to getting the most use out of them. Life can get busy and often tiring, especially when managing a life-changing health condition. So it's important to take some steps while we have the time and energy to do so to set us up for success down the road. One of the best ways to be more efficient in the kitchen is to prep ingredients and cook in bulk. If you get our produce bag and know in advance that you're going to be using a head of broccoli for stir fry or kale for salads, then it's much more time efficient to go ahead and chop all of those up and store it rather than chopping up only what you need each time and dirtying a knife several times throughout the week. This doesn't just apply to veggies either. You can make grains like quinoa and rice in large batches and freeze or refrigerate the extras to be reheated at a moment's notice. You can go ahead and put long cooking vegetables in the oven like potatoes or beets and have them ready to go, waiting to be reheated in your fridge. And you can make sauces on the weekends that'll add zing and flavor to recipes that you're making throughout the week. And I want to let you know, I practice what I preach too. This is my lunch for today. I didn't make this for the video, but I've got rice here. I made a triple batch, so I've got 2 more containers of this at home in my freezer. And I made a sauce on the weekend so I can add it on and have a little bit more flavor for my desk lunch. By taking these few steps ahead of time, we can save ourselves a lot of cook time on different nights throughout the week, and we can save ourselves a lot of time cleaning up dishes if we don't have to use them every single time. To make things even easier on yourself, you can go ahead and prepare many full meals ahead of time for those moments in the future where you really don't feel like cooking anything at all. Soups are an excellent example of this. You can take pretty much any combination of root vegetables from the fresh produce that we send you, roast those with some oil, salt, and pepper just until they turn brown, then simmer them in a little bit of stock, toss in some canned beans, and blend the whole thing up, and you've got a thick, creamy soup that's full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and protein, and it freezes and thaws out perfectly. You can also make chicken noodle soup if you want to. Go ahead and saute an onion, some celery, maybe some carrots, toss in a little bit of canned chicken, add your broth to that, and then go ahead and just freeze it at that stage. Whenever you're ready to cook, put it in a pot, add a little bit of extra liquid, and then put in some egg noodles to cook right in the soup, and you're about 5 minutes away from the meal. It doesn't just have to be soups though. You can also make a basic pasta sauce using our turkey burgers, an onion, and some of our tomato sauce. Cook that all up in a big batch, have it in your freezer, and then as long as you can boil water for pasta, you're only a few minutes away from having yourself a perfectly satisfying dinner. Using your creativity in the kitchen is a great way to avoid food waste and save money on your food budget. There's lots of different ingredients that can be repurposed for other items, and using your leftovers in new and creative ways is a great way to enjoy your eating experience and to minimize your food waste. Making meatballs and running low on breadcrumbs, or trying to bread fish and you don't have any, go ahead and crush up some saltine crackers really small, and it worked for both options. Running low on stock while you're making soup, add a little bit of extra water to that, and then take the scraps from your veggies that you're chopping up to make that soup, simmer them in there for a while, and then strain it in. This will add a lot of extra flavor to that stock, and you can even do this when you aren't running out of stock, and it will still boost the flavor significantly. Got a little bit of leftover rice and chopped up veggies made at the end of the week, but you've run out of your protein like chicken? Go ahead and scramble up some eggs and make fried rice. Or open up a can of tuna, add in some mayo, soy sauce, and hot sauce, and you've made yourself a spicy tuna roll in bowl form. Using your creativity is a great way to stretch out your food budget and the groceries we send you as far as they possibly can. A big way to boost your creativity is to have a set number of staple items on hand, to adjust items to your taste and to complement what we send. We know a lot of folks have a limited food budget, so I wanted to talk about a few different items that we suggest in order to maximize your food dollar while still adding nutrition and variety into your diet. To start with, different spices, seasonings, and condiments can take the exact same base ingredients and turn them into wildly different meals. Here at Food and Friends, we send some of these items in our deliveries, and we also offer a spice pack that you can request be added to our deliveries, but the options are quite literally endless. If you like East Asian flavors, keeping soy sauce, sesame oil, and rice vinegar on hand is a great start. Or you can take things in a more southwesterly direction with items like chilies, lime, and cumin. Adding a little bit of Parmesan or oregano can really take your pasta up a notch, and I know I personally put hot sauce on darn near everything. Find out what you like, the foods that you enjoy, and then do a little research to find out what makes them taste that way, and then keep those items on hand. But a warning, keep an eye on the sodium with some of these sauces, so make sure you're reading your nutrition labels. We will also generally recommend a couple of protein sources that we would actually like to send if they were not too fragile for either transportation or freezing. Eggs are a great protein source, extremely versatile, a common cooking ingredient, and very easy to have on hand. You can throw a fried, poached, or boiled egg on top of near anything and add a nice hit of protein to the meal. Or you can just boil them and keep them on hand as a snack anytime you want. Yogurt is also a great protein source, has lots of probiotics that can aid in digestion, and is more versatile than most people will give it credit for. Sure, you can eat it in a bowl with some fruit and granola on top of it, but you can also use it to marinate chicken. You can use it to make sauces like Indian raita or Greek tzatziki. And you can even combine it with self-rising flour to make a dough for flatbread. That's a whole meal out of just yogurt. You can customize which items you get to your specific needs. I would look for a no added sugar plain yogurt so that you can customize it to your taste. And then if heart health is more your concern, then probably choose a low or non-fat yogurt. Whereas if you need to add some calories while you're undergoing treatment, choose a whole milk yogurt to amp the calories up a little bit. Finally, if you are looking for ways to receive food outside of our deliveries, there are many other organizations out there that can help. Many clients may be eligible for programs that they don't even know exist. You can always reach out to our dietitians, and we're happy to help connect you to WIC or SNAP, which is formerly known as food stamps. If you live with a dependent, a caretaker, a spouse, or a partner, they may be eligible to receive an additional family bag of groceries from us. And most county or the district government websites will have links to other resources or a hotline that you can call and have a live person walk you through those resources. Finally, please use our dietitians here as a resource. We're here to help you understand the connections between food and managing your health conditions, but that can take many forms, including questions about a specific ingredient or even sending you recipes. The food deliveries we send will only last for a certain amount of time, but knowledge you gain about using food to manage your health will last you the rest of your life. Thank you, and happy eating!